Hi, my name is TJ Smiley. I'm a machinist here at Tri-Aerospace, and I've been cutting aerospace and other type of parts for about 6 years now. About 6 months here at Tri-Aerospace, and honestly this has been my favorite shop to work at so far. We do lots of big parts here. We do prototype work, so we have to make it right the first time in one try. No chance to mess up on that. We do a little bit of production, but I left Arby's and got a job in the little mom and pop factory, and I was a parts washer there. I didn't have anything to do with machines. I washed parts, I prepared parts for painting, and I'd sweep and do random odds and ends around the shop. Well, I like to keep busy. I do my work, and they gave me an opportunity to run machines, and it paid a little more than what I was doing, and I've been cutting metal ever since. Definitely need to be strong in mathematics, need to have mechanical abilities and understandings of how those type of things work, then really just being able to follow basic work instructions and read blueprints. There's a lot of things I like about the job. Generally we work at our own pace because as a machinist, nobody's standing over you telling you what needs to be done next. You know what needs done next, and you decide and you do it. And a lot of times you'll decide how things are going to be done, and it gets interesting on that. So I do like that aspect. I like to create things. I like to actually have made something and get to see the fruits of my effort. You know, that's interesting to me. And then it's just kind of, as a guy, I don't know, maybe it's something along the lines of liking the smell of gasoline. Something about cutting metal is just, I like it. I just like breaking chips, man. There's definite learning curve for someone like me who I was just scrubbing parts of the giant toothbrush to now I can cut precision parts with any machine in the shop pretty much. Albeit I haven't had as much manual experience. I'm more on the CNC side of things. I run the computer controlled machines. Yeah, there's definite learning curve, and there's I guess a small underlying level of stress anytime you're running a machine, because when you're working with those kind of all these different forces all at once, tools and horsepowers and rigid materials, as a machinist it will crash. If you don't crash, you're not doing anything, and that's the moment where you're basically standing next to a car wreck and you're in control of whether it keeps wrecking or whether it stops. And so there's been little levels of nerves and learning curves and things, and knowing how to handle those type of situations is one of the big things. Well, if there was a high school student considering this career field, I'd have to tell him that it's not a bad career field to pick. I wish I had chosen to do this career field as opposed to happening into it, but I'm still glad to be here. The advantages are things like the work's not physically hard. We have ways of taking out the manual labor. You're more working with your mind. You get to think for your money. You get to calculate. You'll always make a better than average living in this career field as opposed to just going out and working wherever. And then with this skill set, you've got a lot of knowledge that can never be taken away from you, and then you can go anywhere in the country, probably anywhere in the world depending on if you're a linguist, and get a job. There will always be manufacturing. I do got this to say. I have actually since high school gone back and thanked my math teacher, because I took some advanced math classes just because I was interested in it. I knew I wasn't going to college at that point, but it was interesting, and she always used to say, yeah, I know you're never going to use any of this in the real world. Well, I ran into her at Walmart, and I had to tell her, you know what, thank you, because of what you taught me, I have a career today, and I use these things daily. And as far as geometry, trigonometry, those are your key areas really on what a machinist is going to use day to day. Know how to use a calculator, you know, because sometimes we're involved in how a part's going to be cut. So you might get a program, a sketch, and they're going to tell you, you know, here's a list of tools. Figure out how to clamp it. Set up you build all the tools from scratch. I mean, you have to just know. You have to be able to look things over and know that if I set up this tool with these lengths, looking at this sketch, even holding it up and looking, it's not going to crash. It's the setup's going to be rigid enough to take the amount of material they're trying to cut off. There is a lot to think about, and so yeah, an analytical thinker is being an analytical thinker is a great quality to possess for this.